Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about a whole new part of the world, yay! Today we're going to talk about student life in the UK. Now I did my master's degree from Wales many years ago. We're not going to get into the year at this point. So I did my master's degree in Wales, but it was less than 5 years ago. And it was a really cool experience, and it was a great time, and I met some great people. I made some really close friends, and it was a very different experience to having been anywhere else in the world that I have. So I thought I would talk about it here and just kind of run you through a really brief introduction of what you can expect when you go there, or if it is something that you're considering. Now, when you are applying for studies in any country that is not the country of where you hold your passport, the process is pretty much the same. So you have to first apply for the school, the college, or the institution that you want to study at. And once you get approved for whichever institution you want to study at, that is your ticket to apply for a student visa. So when you go and apply for a student visa, they also have their checklist that they will look at to make sure that you qualify to have a student visa. So, they will look at your bank account balance. So you need to have a considerable amount of money to go to the UK and study. And that was something that was very surprising for me, because it's not something that I've ever had to think about or struggle with in applying for any other country in the world. But they are very strict on that, and you can't just like transfer money into your account and have it. It needs to have been there for a considerable amount of time before you can even show it to them. So you can't transfer it yesterday and then send them a bank statement. And then you also have to go through a center and give them your fingerprints. They will take your photograph, your height, and things like that, and keep it on file, so you cannot have convicted any crime or anything like that to enter the UK. And then they might have new little things that you might have to do depending on the country you're from. You might even have to take a health examination and get a chest x-ray and things like that. So once you get to the UK and whatever university you are going through, most universities will have some sort of transportation in place to help you get from the airport to the campus. If you are living on campus, that's definitely something you want to take advantage of. People ask me all the time if you should live on campus or you should live off campus. Living on campus is a little bit more expensive, but my program was only for a year, and it wasn't something that I wanted to kind of play around with. So I chose to live on campus and have my own separate rooms. It was like having a little apartment. The unfortunate thing that happened was that I was placed on the wrong campus, so I was on the wrong side of town, but I was able to sort it out after a relatively short / long ordeal. So that decision is up to you, and it's up to you whether you want to be on campus and be a part of that all the time. There's things like fire alarms, and there's kids who party and all of that happens on campus that some students don't like. Some students like to just sort of be alone and then go to school and study. There are also a lot of social events that happen where you can meet people from all over the world. They had a grad student sort of a social gathering the first day, and it was sort of students from all different programs that came together, and that's kind of where I met the bulk of my friends that I'm still in touch with today. And then also your program will organize something where you can go and meet everyone and chat and interact, learn about each other, because the program, especially in grad school, it does get smaller, so there are a lot less students in it than when you were in your undergrad studies and there were thousands and thousands of them. So that's something that's really cool too, so that you kind of become more affiliated with more people, and then you never know where you might end up working with each other or whatever in the future. So that's something that's really cool. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was working while you are in the UK. Now, a lot of people say that Australia is expensive, and I agree. I think that if I were to look at just the money that I have, earned in Canada, and I were to go to Australia with that, I don't think I could sustain myself very long because it is pretty expensive. But once you start working in Australia, it is okay and you can sustain yourself pretty easily. As a student, especially a grad student in the UK, the sort of work that you can get the options aren't as many because you're kind of in class or doing projects all the time. So you can maybe get like a retail job or work on campus, but the pay is very little compared to how much things cost. There are places that you can go like Primark and Tesco, where things are cheaper, but it's not enough for you to be able to have the same quality of life that you could have in Canada or the US or Australia. And that's something that I think is definitely a personal opinion of mine. So I don't want people to like really get aggressive and jump down my throat because I'm saying this. Again, this was a kind of like in the 5 year ago range. So things may have changed, but this was something that I found to be true. And, since then I have been back and I still think that there are things in the UK that are a bit too expensive and that doesn't really make sense. So yeah, that's totally up to you and you can see how you go. What I might suggest that you can do is you can go online to a few stores in the UK and look at how much things are, and then also you can look at a few job advertisements and see how much they pay, so you have an idea of what to expect when you get there and you don't feel disappointed. But if you're going there for grad studies, it's a lot harder to work as much when you are doing your master's or your PhD than if you are doing your undergrad studies. So that was one other thing that I wanted to mention. So I think that was all that I wanted to say for this video, and it's a really abrupt kind of end, but it is something that I wanted to talk about. So please let me know if you have any other questions for me as far as UK goes, or Australia or Canada, and I will keep these sort of videos coming and answer your questions to the best of my abilities. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and let me know whatever it is you think of this video, and hopefully it wasn't too much of a ramble. Until next time, think strong and have a great day. Bye.